Hey my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, this is another new player guide. I'm going to be showing you guys how to properly team build like a pro in Ever Crisis. And even for those of you that may not be a new player in this game, if you want to touch up on your skills and how to properly build a team for content in this game, then this is going to be a video for you. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to go to the summon quests. All right. And I think since we are currently, most people are working on the new Ifrit and Bahamut fight, that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to choose the very hard one right here. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I go about building a team. So I'm just going to choose a random party right here. And we're going to be changing first the characters based on what we need, then all of their weapons, materia, and then lastly their sub-weapons. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I approach building a team in Ever Crisis so that you can start practicing it. Honestly, the bread and butter of this game, if you want to be a good player, is learning how to take what you have and building a team out of it. There are no like true party builds that, you know, you can just like rinse and repeat use throughout content. Everything is always different. The sigils change, the materias change, the imperils change, the boss weaknesses change. Everything is going to be periodically changing. So instead of like creating one team that you want to keep, the idea is to learn how to build a new team for the current content that you want to beat. All right, so the first thing that we're going to look at when I go into a team is right down here. All right, so you see right here the recommended element is going to be right here if there is one, and then the recommended sigil for breaking is going to be here if there is one. So here we know that ice is the recommended element, right? And then here you see a diamond sigil, meaning that only very few weapons can break this. Any other materia that is an attack that has a 3 ATB cost, preferably, is going to break one of these sigils. So if you see 9 of these pop up, you'll either need to do 9 individual attacks, which is 27 ATB total. It costs 3 characters, or you'll be bringing in a weapon like Tifa's Bahamut Knuckles, which has a special break against this, or Sephiroth's Nameless, which has a 2 ATB cost on it, which will still only take 1 sigil away, or you'll be bringing in, you know, Matt's free Bahamut weapon that can also break this sigil. Now let's go in here and let's look at the actual opponents, and we'll see what we're getting into right here. So the diamond sigil is on both Ifrit and Bahamut. We will be encountering that from both of them throughout the fight. So we're going to figure out through our build if we'll be running a weapon with a diamond sigil break on it, or if we're going to forego a diamond sigil break weapon and go with just regular materias, in which case you typically have to memorize when these sigil breaks will happen so that you have ATB saved up in order to effectively destroy the sigils in time, since you can only break 1 sigil at a time without the corresponding kind of shape. All right, so Bahamut here has no recommended element. All elemental damage will be neutral, or not neutral against him, but it won't be boosted. However, Ifrit is going to be weak to ice, so we're going to at least build 1 ice character. So let's look at Ifrit first, right? Right here, it shows his weakness is ice, his resistance is fire. So we know that we're not running anything fire related in our build, and we will not be summoning Ifrit in our build whatsoever. Now it's important to read the other info, right? His immunities are Darkness, Silence, Stun, Fatigue, Fog, Attack Down, and Magic Attack Down. Okay, so we can't break his attacks at all. We can't break physical attack or magic attack. Okay, however, we can break physical defense and magic defense, which is good to know. Another thing here that he's not immune to is poison. So we know that we can take in the bio materia and poison Ifrit. Bio will tick at 4% a tick. So every 4 seconds, it'll deal 4% of his total HP, which is pretty phenomenal, especially when going into certain boss fights. All right, so now we know that we're running at least 1 ice character, nothing flame related. We may be bringing in a diamond sigil break weapon. Okay, if not, we're going to at least have 3 ATB cost attack materia on every single character. He is weak to poison, and he can be broken via physical defense and magic defense. All right, so let's keep that in mind. Now let's read about him. Fire potency changes based on force gauge ignition. Fire potency means how strong his fire attacks are. So when he goes into this mode called Force Gauge Ignition, the gauge can only be depleted with ice element abilities. So if the gauge is full, he has maximum fire potency, which means he's hitting super hard. Meaning we need to have ice element abilities in order to lower this bar. Destroying more sigils during Incinerate lowers the potency of Hellfire. All right, so when he goes into the Incinerate modes, he's going to be in a sigil break stance, and the more of those sigils that we break will reduce his ultimate attack when it goes off. All right, so that's good to know that the sigil breaks are going to be more important than normal right here. That's why it's telling us that. Now let's go into Bahamut. Bahamut has no weaknesses, but he also has no resistances, so we can essentially use any element against this character. But would we bring fire? No, right? Because Ifrit is going to be resistant to fire. Now, would a double ice DPS team work against this? Yeah, it would work great, right? Because he's not resistant to ice. His sigils are still diamond. Now, his immunities are poison, so we can't poison Bahamut. Darkness, silence, stun, fatigue, and fog. However, he is not immune to physical magic attack break or physical defense, magic defense down. So Bahamut can be greatly debuffed in this fight, and I'm guessing normally when bosses can be fully debuffed like this, it's because they're super strong when they're not debuffed. Also, and I'll let you guys know this, not all of the information regarding the boss is written in this other info. A lot of it, or some of it, you often have to learn by doing trial and error in the fight. So I go into a fight, I find out that the boss actually will cast fatigue on us, right? I go out of the fight, I switch in a healing Asuna fatigue, I go back into the fight. You find out that the boss will counter physical sigil breaks when you go in. So let's say you were running 3 triangle sigil breaks, all ruin blow, right? Against Rufus, for example. But Rufus counters all physical attacks when he's in that sigil stance. Then you go back out, you change those triangle sigils all to magic sigils, you go back into the fight. So there is a kind of trial and error period, but you're learning the fight. You're learning how to make a team. You're tailoring the team to the content. And let me tell you guys, when you actually get it nailed down, when you make the perfect team, it's going to make the fight easy. It may not always be super easy. Sometimes if you're on the cutting line of being able to do it, it's still going to be difficult, but it's going to change the fight from becoming impossible to ever do to being, you can definitely finish this fight. Now, let's look at this. Bahamut uses many physical and magic abilities. All right, so now that's telling me we need to magic attack, physical attack down him. A countdown triggers during Force Gauge Mega Flare, and when the countdown ends, it unleashes the powerful magic attack Mega Flare. The gauge can be depleted with damage. This is different from Ifrit's Ignition Force Gauge, as this one can be depleted by any damage, whereas Ifrit's can only be depleted by doing ice damage. All right, so let's look at this. So now we know that if we can, we want strong ice characters, all right? Now, I'm not going to be trying to build a team based on power, as this is not a guide. So I'm just going to go about this as I would normally go about this, right? Okay, so we go to characters, and you're going to slowly learn which characters have certain things as you go about this, right? But if you need to, what you can do is you can just click a character, you can go to them, click their weapon, and you'll see all the weapons that you have for this character, right? Then you can just hold down and you can see what this does. This is 480% physical non-elemental damage, so not super great. This one does magic defense down. Okay, that's possible. But we're looking for ice, right? We're looking for ice weapons, and I don't really see it. Here we have 370% magic ice damage. Now, however, this is a very low percent. So we want something a little bit more potent, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and let you guys know. Yuffie has an ice weapon. Sephiroth has an ice weapon and Arcanum costume. It's magic based. Tifa has an ice weapon / Arcanum costume that's physical based. Cloud just got a brand new physical ice weapon / Arcanum costume. Okay. Lucia has an ice imperil. And other than that, those are the ones that stand out. Arcanum, 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 no Arcanum, but ice weapon right here. Also, Aerith has Snowflake. You're going to learn to memorize these slowly over time. At the beginning, you're probably only going to be focusing on certain characters, right? So let's go to Cloud, all right? I'm going to pick Cloud for our first character. Okay, now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to slot that weapon that we want. This is the ice weapon right here. Okay, so I'm going to go to it and I'm going to equip it. Then I'm going to equip the costume that adds the Frostblade Arcanum to it. All right, now since Cloud is an ice damage character, we can go in and we can use Shiva. Okay, now if you've gotten Shiva unlocked, you can use Diamond Dust. If you haven't quite unlocked Diamond Dust, you can use Whiteout, which is a little bit weaker. Okay, so I'm going to equip Shiva's Diamond Dust right here. Now, let's go back out and let's look at the rest of the team. Now we have our first ice DPS character. We're going to hopefully get one more, but now for any hard fight in this game, most of the time, you're going to want a dedicated healer. Now, I run my healer in the main slot because typically you want to be playing the healer most of the time when you're fighting on manual. If you think that this is a game where you can auto through all the hard fights, guys, it's not going to work like that. This game forces you to play on manual, and to be honest, I'm happy that it does. If this game had all the fights autoable, I think that I would have far less of an interest in it. All right, so now we are going to spot a healer. Okay, so Tifa is a good healer with the Lifeguard wraps, although her healing costume was her summer one and it is gone now. Aerith is a great healer. Red 13 can heal via Regen, but it doesn't work that great on an actually tough fight. And then Matt is also a healer. Also, Cloud can heal, but since we already have him as our ice DPS, he's not going to work great for it. All right, so let's go in, and I'm going to choose Aerith, okay? Now, you choose a costume that's going to be, applicable for the fight. So we know that Bahamut is going to have a very strong magic attack, so magic defense would be great, right? So we have this original one, Slum's Flower Girl, but the potencies aren't great. This is a wind one. This one's not bad. Rosy Battlesuit, boost healing, boost magic defense. You can get this one from the gear exchange shop, actually. Okay, then we have HP and magic attack, HP and magic defense. That's a great one. And then we also have HP and healing, all right? So this is going to be the best one that you can use. This was a limited costume, but this is also a great choice, and this one is here too. So I'm going to go with this costume right here. And since she is healing, I'm going to put her healing weapon, which is Fairy Tail, in the first slot. Now we know that Ifrit and Bahamut can both be broken via physical defense or magic defense. And Aerith just so happens to have a weapon called Sun Umbrella that can reduce physical defense and magic defense for an enemy. So both of them. So even if we have a physical ice character and a magic ice character, she's breaking defenses on a single target enemy for both of those. So we could run physical and magic. However, if she just had a physical break, you'd want to run double physical DPS, etc. Right? So I'm going to equip, let's go back here. We're going to equip the Sun Umbrella, right? But you are going to want to look for some type of break there to give yourself extra damage. All right, now for Aerith, we're going to choose her limit break, Healing Wind. She is going to be our main healer, and that's the focus we're going to go. All right, so now we have Cloud as our ice DPS, Aerith as our healer, and now we're looking for another character that can do ice damage, okay? So I'm going to go in here. There's Sephiroth, which has magic ice, Yuffie that has physical ice, right? But we also have Cloud running his new limit break draw weapon, right? And that limit break draw weapon adds physical attack up to all allies. So that won't affect Sephiroth, but it will affect Yuffie, right? And the nice thing about Yuffie is that she has a lot of viability outside of just being a DPS. She won't be quite as strong as Sephiroth, but she can bring more to the table. So I'm going to equip her with the Winter Moogle Boost HP Buff Debuff extension, and we're going to bring a buffer / DPS as our third slot. All right? Also, what's important to note is that we are going to be looking for an Imperil, an Ice Imperil at that, and there's only 2 characters in the game that can do that. Lucia, right? but then also Yuffie, and Yuffie has far more viability than Lucia. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in here, we're gonna choose her Ice Ninjutsu weapon right here. All right, put that in the first slot. And then we're gonna choose her Pinwheel, which has Ice Resist decreased. It goes from mid to high on the second cast. And now we have an Ice Imperil, which is going to greatly increase our ice damage on the bosses. Okay, now if we go into her limit break, Shiva's already taken, right? Cloud is going to be the one that's stacking ice potency. He's our main ice DPS. Yuffie is a backup. Now, as a backup, damage is not her primary priority. So we could use Bloodfest, this limit break that does damage, or we could use Clear Tranquil, which increases physical attack, magic attack for all allies, and applies Regen, right? So since she's more of a support slash DPS, I'm going to bring Clear Tranquil into this fight. All right, now let's go back and we'll see what we've got to work with so far. All right, so as you guys can see here, we are right off the bat. Now, what are we missing? We need to lower the attack of Bahamut, right? Specifically his magic attack. Ifrit, if we go back and check, Ifrit cannot have his physical attack, magic attack lowered, so we don't have to worry about him. Bahamut, I'll tell you guys now, is very magic focused, although he does do some physical attacks. Therefore, we want to increase our magic defense, right? Because Mega Flare is a massive AoE magic attack, right? And then also, we want to lower his magic attack. Now, we don't have any more weapons to really spare here. So in order to lower magic attack, we're going to have to bring in Defaiths. And in order to raise our magic defense, we're going to have to equip something that can do that. Now, the weapon that Cloud has that does that is called Bandage Sword. The ability is Sanctuary, and it raises the magic defense of all allies at OB6 to instant high cast. However, this weapon is very powerful, even at base 5-star, which I highly recommend wishlisting this. This is a great weapon. Okay, so we're going to equip Bandage Sword. And every time Bahamut goes to cast Mega Flare, we're going to make sure that we are fully buffed up with magic defense. All right, so let's go back. It looks like we have all of our weapons, our costumes, and our limit break / summons chosen. Now, what are we missing? We're missing magic attack down. Okay, we need to debuff Bahamut in this fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to equip. Now, I'm going to equip Defaith, which is a materia that lowers the magic attack by 1 tier of the enemy. Now, Cloud is not really going to be able to spend time doing that, right? Because Cloud is going to be busy casting Sanctuary, raising up the magic defense. However, Aerith and Yuffie are going to be free to do something else, and they're going to be the ones taking control of debuffing the magic attack of Bahamut. So we're going to go in here, switch to not available for both those things, and I'm going to look for Defaiths. Here's the first one right here. This is the materia. If you guys don't have it, go make it in the materia shop. Okay. If you don't have the recipe, I believe it's from one of the Crisis dungeons. All right. So here, magic attack is decreased, low potency, max potency, low. Okay. So I'm going to equip that on Aerith. We're going to go over to Yuffie, and I'm going to equip one on Yuffie as well. All right. So let's go down here. We're going to find another one. Okay. That way, Yuffie and Aerith will start immediately spamming Defaith on Bahamut when it gives itself a magic attack buff. We're going to take that magic attack buff all the way down to neutral, and then we're going to take it 1 point into the negative. This Defaith is not going to be able to go past 1 tier into the negative. Keep that in mind, because as you guys can see, the max potency of it is low. Max potency low. All right, so that's 1 tier. Okay, so now we have that. But we also know that Bahamut can do physical attacks, right? We have the magic defense, but we don't have anything for physical defense. Now, when Bahamut is casting a magic attack, Cloud's tied up, Aerith and Yuffie are tied up. But when he's casting a physical attack, Cloud is free. He doesn't need to cast Sanctuary. So now we're going to go over to Cloud, and we're going to equip him with Barrier. Barrier is a materia that's going to raise the physical defense of whoever you cast it on. All right, so we're going to equip that in his second slot. And as you guys can see, I'm putting the similar kinds of materias in the same place here. Now, if you want to know how they're going to be boosted, you click the weapon, you go to support materia, and you can see what they do. Sigil breaks are often in the third slot, so I often save my sigil breaking materials for the third slot. All right, in the first and second slot, Cloud is going to have boosted physical ability damage plus 20%. However, Barrier is not going to have an effect on that, so I'm just going to put it in the second slot so that when I'm switching between them on manual, I already know when I go from Aerith to Cloud to Yuffie to Cloud to Aerith that all my buffs and debuffs are in the second slot. I immediately know where it is, where I'm going. If I had Barrier in slot 1 here, Defaith in slot 2 here, and Defaith in slot 3 here, you're going to be confused when you're going back and forth and building and fighting something like this. So you want to have everything in sync. Now, furthermore, I'm going to equip every character with a cure materia. Even though Aerith is healing, sometimes in hard fights, they need backup. And so in order to do that, I'm going to go here and I'm going to look through my curas. As we can see, this cura has physical attack plus 4.9%. All right, that seems like a great one for Cloud. Now let's go to Aerith, and we're going to put her cure in the first slot as well, so that all the cures are right aligned up, so we know exactly where they are on all characters. So let's click this one. This cura is 4-star, but it has no percentage stats. We're looking for something with healing because Aerith is healing focused. This one has physical attack. Now this one has magic attack, physical attack, and HP, but also no healing. So let's click the next one. This one has healing 3.5%. and HP 6.5%. That's going to be the one that's going on our healer. Last but not least, we're going to go to Yuffie, and we're also going to put a single target heal on her. All right. Now this one isn't that great. This one has physical attack 3%, and she is physical based on her weapon. So we're looking for a strong physical one. Here's one with HP and physical. All right. So that's going to be the one that we choose. Now let's go back out here, and you guys can see that we're starting to get the main structure of a team. All right. And now if you guys have any questions, if there's something that I'm not covering, if there's something, that you're confused about, just ask me in the comments below. I'm happy to help you guys. I'm here to help you guys build better teams. And if you want more thorough answers to your questions, come join the Curseborn Discord. We have a thriving Ever Crisis community, tons of helpful players. From free-to-play players day one to SEA free-to-play players, all the way from minnows, dolphins, whales, and even krakens. We're happy to help you guys. All right, so now you guys can see we have everything filled out except for the last slot. Now, the diamond sigil break. Based on this team, we have no one that can break that diamond sigil break. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in sigils, okay, based on, let's see here. We don't need to choose a specific shape, right? Because it's diamond. It doesn't matter. We do need something that's a 3 ATB cost that we can spam and break these sigils. Now, because we don't have a diamond sigil break, breaking the sigils are going to be harder. If you find that you're not able to break them with the team that you've built, you may have to go back to the drawing board. For example, dropping Yuffie, bringing in Tifa, equipping Tifa's Bahamut Knuckles, right? Because then she's going to be able to break 3 of those sigils every time she hits with that ability, okay? But that's not to say that it can't be done without a diamond sigil breaking weapon, okay? It can be done. You're just going to have to learn the fight. A lot of this has to do with team building is the first half of it, okay? Then learning and understanding the mechanic of the fight is the second half of it. Most of the time, if I'm going into a fight where I don't have the exact sigil for what I need to memorize when that sigil break is coming so that I can let my ATB save up beforehand. And then the moment the sigil pops, then I unload all my ATB on every character and you can break it easily. Also, there's times where the boss will have a massive attack, hit you, do a ton of damage, and the first inclination is going to be to drop 5 ATB on your healer and heal your whole party. The moment you drop that heal, they're going to go into a sigil break and you've just lost all that ATB. But most of the time when that happens, they're not going to attack you right away. So what you do is instead of healing, you stay in the red on your characters, you save your ATB, and the moment that sigil pops, you break it with your ATB, you break his sigils, interrupt the boss, then you heal up to full and use that window to attack. All right, so right now we're looking for sigils for each character. So for Cloud, I'm going to take this one. It's a triangle sigil ruiner blow. It gives 5.6% physical attack. Easy. Now for Aerith, let's go here. I'll change the filter to healing, okay? And let's look for the one that gives the most healing. This one gives 3.6% healing. It's the strongest one. So I'm going to take this one right here for Aerith. Now for Yuffie, we'll switch the filter from healing to physical attack, switch it back, and we'll see what this one is. This one's physical attack 1.9%. I can't, is that my strongest one? I guess that's my strongest one. So I'm just going to take that one right there. We're going to put that on Yuffie. Now our sigils are all ready and good to go. All right. So looking at this fight, we have Aerith. When she's not healing, she's going to be breaking physical defense, magic defense, which is going to increase the attack of Cloud and Yuffie. Yuffie's going to have her Ice Shuriken for ice damage, lowering Ifrit's ignition gauge. We have the Pinwheel for the Ice Imperil to greatly increase Cloud and Yuffie's ice damage. And not only that, but her costume is going to increase the duration of that Imperil as well, since that's considered a debuff. Okay, we also have Yuffie's backup heal right here with the Regen and physical attack. We have Cloud's Shiva's Diamond Dust right here, which will get greatly improved damage if you use Clear Tranquil before it, right? Then we have Cloud as your main DPS and main magic defense buffer. So he's going to go back and forth between doing damage and then buffing. He's also a buffer in the sense that you have Barrier. So if Bahamut starts to cast Dive Bomb, which is a single target physical attack, Cloud is going to be the one that's casting Barrier on that character. Now, if with Barrier, you're still dying at full HP, you're going to need to bring a D-Brave with one of these characters instead of the heal. So what you could do is drop Yuffie's Cura right here, right? So let's go here. We'll drop her Cura. We'll have 2 Curas on the main characters. Okay? And there you have it, right? So if the barrier is not enough, that means you need to lower the physical attack as well. So we have Cloud with a single target heal, Aerith with a single target heal, and then Yuffie will be more of a buffer slash debuffer than a DPS. She'll have D-Brave and D-Faith, a sigil break for those sigils, the Imperil weapon, the Ice weapon, etc., right? So this is shaping up to be a great team. On the front end, this is going to be a team that could take down this fight. At that point, it's literally just learning the fight, all right? Now, last but not least, let's go into the sub-weapons, all right? And I'm going to show you guys how I go about this. Cloud is our main DPS, and he's ice-focused, which means the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into Filter, our abilities, Elemental Potencies, Boost Ice Potency, and we're going to build him to a max, the max ice potency we can get him without sacrificing too much HP. So here's Edge Wings at OB10, boost magic attack, boost ice potency. You don't need this magic attack though, he's physical. So as great as that is, we're going to forego it. This one, however, gives attack and ice potency. So we're going to go ahead and equip that. All right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the Bald Eagle, boost physical attack and ice potency. All right, we're going to take that. Now I'm going to look at the HP. We have, just from those two, boost ice potency 5, which is super solid, plus the Frostblade Arcanum, that's 35%, plus the ice potency 5, that's 55%. So that's 90% ice potency right now with those two weapons and his main one. All right. Now his HP's a little low. His defenses are a little low. His magic defense is super low. So I want to raise his magic defense and his HP. So we're going to turn this filter off. Okay. And now we're going to go and we're going to look for a weapon that can do that. For example, the 1000 Waves, a free event weapon. Boost HP, boost magic defense. Perfect. We look at his stats, 8.7k HP, 2.9k physical attack, 117 defense, 118 magic defense. He's still got the fire, ice potency 5, Frostblade Arcanum, physical attack 3. He's looking super solid, and he's got the physical attack all allies at level 4. So Cloud is looking super solid as a DPS right here. All right, going over to Aerith. Aerith is not a DPS whatsoever. She wants to heal, and you want her to be doing the maximum amount per AoE heal as possible. Her healing potency is already at 5, plus 60%, but we're going to get it higher. One of the best weapons for raising healing potency is called the Guard Stick. This weapon is OB6 level 80, and its healing potency is 46, which is higher than the frickin' Fairy Tail at OB10. So if we go back here, we look at Fairy Tail OB10, 29 healing, right? This one's OB6, and it's 46. Insane. And I believe this goes all the way up to 62 healing at OB10. So absolutely crazy. All right, now her healing is at level 7 and 2100. Okay, so super strong. Now, another great weapon to put on her would be the Chocobo Staff. Boosts healing and magic defense, right? Magic defense is super crucial for this fight. So her healing is not only going to go to level 8, the stats are going to go to 2400, and we'll get the magic defense buff. Boom. Aerith is the main healer. Keep her alive. Now, her HP is suffering a bit, right? So we want to boost her HP. Okay, so let's go down here and let's search for something that boosts HP. The Aonibi is pretty good. It has boost ability potency and HP and raises the heal, so overall pretty good, but the HP is not the greatest. If we look at the Hell House Caller, roughly the same. Okay, if we look at Bahamut's Knuckles, roughly the same. Now, there are items that give more HP. For example, the Crystal Gloves, right? This one gives 46 points of HP. She'll go up to 8.7k and keep her 2.6k healing. Even though she has lightning potency and she doesn't need it, the stats are going to overall be worth keeping the R ability that doesn't work. All right, so now Aerith is going to be done. She's sitting at 8.7k HP, 2.1k physical, 2.2k magic attack, 111 defense, 123 magic defense, 2600 healing. Super solid in the back end at level 8 healing right here. She's going to serve you wonderfully as a main healer for the party. Last but not least, here we have Yuffie. Yuffie is a main buffer slash debuffer, right? So we're going to look for something that might be able to increase her buff potency. However, I'm not sure I have anything that could quite do that. Let's look for the Arctic Star. All right, so where is the Arctic Star? It's right here. This boosts physical attack and buff to debuff duration by 12 points, okay, which I don't think is going to quite... Oh, it will bump her into level 3. All right, perfect. So we're going to take that. Now her physical attack is at 2008. She has, what is her debuff extension? 80%. So almost double what the weapon normally does is going to now, she's now going to get. That Imperil is almost going to last twice as long as it normally would, which adds a considerable amount of damage, frees up her ATB, allows her to do different things. It's a great move. Now, you want Yuffie to have as much physical attack as possible, but at the same time, we want her to have some HP as well. So I'm going to put on a strong physical attack weapon. We could put on the Maritime Sword, that's 40 points. We could put on the Murasame, that's 40 points as well. But we're probably not going to be getting anything that has ice potency on it, since Cloud is using the only ice potency physical weapons, Bald Eagle and his own. So we'll have to take what we can get. So I'll take the Maritime Sword here, which is going to put her physical attack at level 7. Okay, now she's going to have 2700 physical attack, HP 7500. So I'm going to try and bump that HP just a little bit. All right, so let's go down here. We'll click the Aonibi. Now she's going to have 9.4k HP, 3k physical attack, 1k healing. Her stats in the back are going to be solid. HP goes up, boost ability potency goes up, so her attack stance gauge at max was going to go from 8% to 15%. So all in all, this is a great build. So that is going to conclude all of the characters, how I go into building sub weapons, how I go into building the front end of a build, the top end. I call this the top end. And then the back end with the sub weapons is the back end of the build. All right. The top end includes costume, limit break, summons, main hand weapon, offhand weapon, and the 3 materias for all the characters. Once you build this, go into the sub weapons, and then, like I said, make the best team you can. But if it doesn't work right away, don't be discouraged. You have to let the fight show you what you need, okay? And then learn how to tweak. And that is what's going to make a great player in Ever Crisis. So I hope that this guide was helpful for you guys today. Like I said, if you guys have any questions whatsoever, I'm happy to answer them in the comments. However, it is easier for me to actually help you if you guys come join the Discord channel. It is called the Curseborn. The link is in the description. So yeah, we got a bunch of people in there that are willing to help. I hope this was helpful for you guys today. If this video was helpful to you guys whatsoever, don't forget to drop a like on the video. It is super helpful for me and the channel. And if you're keen on more new player guides or just guides for anything Ever Crisis related, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That being said, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care. and peace.